if you don't make a certain amount of money, should you not be dating?
People say if you can't afford $50 for a date, if you can't afford $30 for a date, whatever, then you shouldn't be dating. But what they're effectively saying is that people who are poor, people who don't have a lot of disposable income, people who have their money tied up in things that they're doing, if they're going to school, if they got children, et cetera, that people in that category, not only do they not deserve love, they don't even deserve the attempt to pursue it. When phrased that way, I think it's just obvious how absurd and hateful of a suggestion that is, to suggest that people who don't have money don't deserve to even attempt to pursue love and affection from others. That's insane. If you're poor, you of course you deserve to attempt to find love. Like, what are we talking about?
See, that's a red flag. It's a red flag.
I don't know. Maybe that whole concept is still just new to me. The deep platonic male love, like, is that because, like, what exactly does that look like?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I think it's because I think about friendship and kind of what I want it to mean in my life, and how it's distinct from like colleagues or buddies or any of that kind of stuff. And I think for me, it's kind of like it's making life plans together. It's being willing to express positive emotion outside of being drunk. So not needing to be drunk to say I love you, or I'm proud of you, or I admire you, or, you know, you do incredible things, or I miss you, or I want to continue being friends with you across time, those kinds of things. I think it's making long-term kind of life plans and not assuming that that's only a thing that you do with a romantic partner. I think it's going to a person first when you are in a situation of emotional stress. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's the person that you go to when you're having dark thoughts, when you are struggling at work or struggling at school or struggling in your relationships, et cetera, et cetera. So that kind of stuff, I would say. There's probably more, but that's the stuff that comes to mind.
Yeah. I mean, apart from making like life plans together, and then like, you know, I want to continue to make sure we're still in each other's lives, like, you know, well into the future. I mean, I do all those things with people who I consider to be my very close friends.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah,
that just seemed like, but those are guys that I love. Like, these are my brothers. Like, you know,
yeah.
and I tell them, like, so, you know, sometimes it ain't all the time. Like, it ain't like I say that shit. Like, you know, every time we hang up the phone, hey, love you, dog. You know, but I told my friends I loved them before, and they said, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, it's a couple of them niggas though. Like, yeah, man, for sure, man. Boop. Like, I know he does it. I know he loves it. Yeah, you know what I mean.
He ain't never said
Right
it or
back at
expressed
you.
it in any way, but I can feel this.
Yeah. I mean, the closest thing you might have said was, you know, I always wondered the closest thing one of them said to expressing like a deep love and bond for me.
Yeah.
Well, on that side was he's like, when I was growing up, I always wondered what it would be like to have a brother. And, you know, and he said that to me, like, you know, I was like,
that's something.
You know
as long as he can follow it up with like, and I hope to find out one day. Like, as long as he can say some shit like that, then I think I think that's pretty. Yeah, that's about as close as you can get, really. I mean, there's a lot of ways to say I love you as well. Like, it's not just those three words in that particular order. There's lots of different ways to express that, and I think that counts as one. But yeah, I mean, like, what you're talking about is friendship. So it's just friendship. I mean, that's all we're really talking about at the end of the day is what is friendship, what is true friendship. But let's go ahead and get straight into the podcast so we can get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Waving the Red Flag, the #1 dating, friendship, platonic, bonding podcast in the universe. It's your boy Eddie. It's Josh. Alvin is currently away trying to figure out a way to monetize free soup kitchens, but he will be back next week. If you want to check out what we're talking about on Patreon, go cop that. It'll be a live episode coming up now. Yeah, when it comes to the friendship shit, I'm like, I just feel like
I'm sorry, but monetized free soup kitchens was a good one.
That was good, yeah. Okay.
That was a good one. I was like, yeah, that's it.
That's out.
He
gonna do it one day. He gonna figure it out, yeah.
Be...
And somehow everybody gonna be thankful too. He can be like, well, this actually is more efficient.
It's actually, well, if you just open yourself up a Chapter S corporation, combine that with a nonprofit, Very easily doable.
Yeah, technically, you can get about $37 per head per homeless person. Actually, if you want to do it that way, add some NFTs and crypto in there. You can
Exactly.
tattoo a little QR code on each homeless person. You can just scan it in. You
Oh
get
yeah.
real
Oh
efficient. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yo, let's
He be
go.
moving. He be moving hobos through quick. Let me tell you. He
Getting
have
them in
them.
and getting them out.
Yeah. Goddamn, it'd be just a hand. It'd be robots and shit doing it. Fuck volunteers. Like,
Right.
nigga, Alvin
Then
be
the
putting
seats,
volunteers out of work.
if you at the seats long enough, they'll just electrocute you.
Yeah. You have used your allotted free time. Please move along. Oh shit. Please enjoy your soup.
Please enjoy your soup. Leave it at the door.
Um,
We will be reusing those plastic cups.
Yeah. Complimentary spoons sold separately. But yeah, on the topic of friendship, I think that just is what friendship is. So when we're talking about like close platonic bonds, we're just talking about friendship, but just to clarify or add extra specificity, that's why we're using that phrase. But I don't think it's anything different. Like Liz Plank was on. I don't know if she was on her own thing or if she was on the Man Enough podcast, but she said that when you have two men who are really, really close, who spend lots and lots of time together, who have a deep emotional connection, and whose lives are intertwined logistically, we call that a bromance. And you see it in film and TV as like a concept. And she said, but there is no equivalent word for women because we just call that friendship. And I think that's probably the best highlight of what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair. That's very fair. Because I don't know, I guess with guys, we have it's like different levels of friendship.
Mm.
And I mean, not to say that women don't have the same different levels because, of course, you just got your girlfriends, your best friends, a friend, you know what I mean? But
yeah, sisters.
Yeah.
And sisters.
But I guess going
and
back
sisters.
to that same point, you're right. Yeah. They get real confusing, but that's it. They'll tell you something. You think of something else, and no, it was really that. That they are them, and it was that.
Oh Jesus! Side I tell you on the runny tag. Goddamn.
But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, going back to it would go back to what Liz was saying. Even though I said it's like different levels for men, but societally speaking, we don't necessarily have that, but men don't really push for that themselves unless that's just a byproduct of this patriarchal conditioning.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, but like to be fair, women don't like. I think people in general don't value friendship as much as they should, women included. Like I think women have a little bit more space, but even they are I would say deeply stunted in the way that they approach friendships.
Yeah.
Because a homegirl, she'll have a homegirl for 20, 30 years, meet a nigga 2 months in, now she done moved to goddamn Barcelona or some shit, and the shit fucks up in a year, and now she's, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I mean, that's being harsh, because it's fine to move on and move forward, but yeah.
But yeah. Cause
I think women also, they'll have close community bonds and still think that the real next step for starting your life is a romantic sexual life partner. As opposed to like, no, you already have community. You can add romance and sexuality into that rather than structuring your life around the romance and sex.
I think it goes the same way for men too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. And this is me saying I wouldn't. I don't think it's necessarily fair to just put that just on women, because like guys do the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very much reciprocal behavior. I got anytime. I got plenty of homeboys when they get a girl,
gone.
Do not hear from these niggas. Like I mean, or like it's far less. And I've been the same way too, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I mean, maybe other people would tell you better than me, but I'm like, nah. If I'm booed up, I'm still very available. I'm still gonna like all our appointments that was there is still gonna be as they were.
Oh yeah, your girl just coming with you because you like community.
Not necessarily actually. Like sometimes, but sometimes that's the situation, but sometimes it's like no, like because sometimes I have just drug a girl along like on everything that I was doing. Like cool, I'm hanging with. Cool, this is what we do. It's poker night. Boom, you coming, whatever.
Yeah.
Because this is what I'm doing. So if you want to be where I'm at, then this is where I'm gonna be at. But that changes the dynamic, and so sometimes, like I've had a couple of homeboys be like, "Hey, like it's cool, but like that's a different thing." You know what I'm saying? Everybody
Yeah.
hanging around with their partners is a different thing than just
Yeah, for
day
sure.
ones hanging out. There's a whole different
Yeah,
dynamic, whole different
absolutely.
conversations, whole
Absolutely.
different feeling. And I'm like, and it's not right for you to just decide that that's going to be what the dynamic is because you want to bring somebody extra. Not that
Right.
there's anything bad or anything like that, but just, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. That's my fault. Won't do that again. Or
Yeah.
I'll consult and be like, what's the vibe tonight, and then go from there. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Yo, there was a am I the asshole that had me heated. And it's to do with rent again.
Oh yeah,
um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
do you want to do this one real quick, or you want to?
Like read it.
Yeah, or I mean, just speak on it. I suppose I can read it, or I'm sure you can read.
Uh,
Like I'm not, anybody
no,
can
go
read it.
ahead. Go. I
Who can
mean, yeah,
read?
go ahead and read it, and then I'll start off with the 2 cents, and then you can give your splendid TED talk.
Man, shut up, nigga. Damn, just you read it then. Go ahead, read it.
I ain't got to
Read it in
pull it up.
India.
I
Okay,
ain't got to. I can't. Is it the first one?
it's the first one. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Oh shit. It's been a while since I've been put on the spot.
The brown dog.
I F23 have been dating my boyfriend Jack.
Jacquet.
Right. Parentheses M23 Jordans, nigga. All right, so all right, so I, female 23 years old, have been dating my boyfriend Jake, male 23 years old, since our freshman year of college. In our last year of undergrad, we decided to rent an apartment together. We split everything 50-50, including utilities, groceries, and rent. We continued living together in the same town as our college after graduation, but recently we both got jobs in Chicago and we are currently living downtown. My dad works in real estate and he has multiple investment properties. My dad generously allowed me to live in one of those properties rent free, but he said that my boyfriend would have to pay him $400 a month for rent. My dad is very protective, but he has been nothing but kind to my boyfriend. My dad's reasoning for making my boyfriend pay rent is that he wants to be sure that my boyfriend is with me for me, not because he will have a free place to live. Keep in mind, if my dad was renting this apartment out to tenants, he would have charged $2,100 a month for rent. Very ritzy building in the middle of downtown Chicago. My boyfriend is mad at me because he asked me for half of the $400 for rent, and I explained to him that I will not be paying rent. My dad is only charging him. He says that we have been splitting rent for the past 2 years, so why would we stop now? Our rent in a college town was $1,200, so we were both paying $600 a month. Our apartment in Chicago is significantly nicer, and he is paying $200 less a month than what he was in college. Is the idea that my dad doesn't charge me for rent? Is the idea that my dad doesn't charge me for rent but charges my boyfriend so crazy? Should I suck it up and pay half because I can afford it? Edit. Jake and I still split utilities and groceries 50-50. And when we go out on date nights, we switch off who pays for it. If he pays one week, I'll pay the next.
So what's up? What you think?
And honestly, I don't think she's the asshole. I get it. I would not have no problem with that,
Yeah.
personally
Do you
speaking.
wanna? Do you wanna? Yeah.
Because like for one, I appreciate her approach to the relationship. Like because it kind of goes back to what we were saying like before. And this
Mm.
could also be a red flag or the underlying red flag of why women say they don't deal with 50-50 guys. But
Mm.
if you have a partner in life, somebody who's willing to go in on life with you and not just try to make everything like all the financial stuff just a man's burden because it's just his role, and this is how women play into the patriarchy. Because if we all equal, why the fuck I gotta pay for every damn thing and we making the same amount of money? But anyway, oh,
It's poverty. We motherfuckers are poor. Like so many
poor
of these
broke.
takes are like, yo, you just hate poor people. Like you're like I see literally people unironically saying poor people shouldn't date. Like, are you hearing what you're saying?
Right,
But yeah.
right. But so I digress. But yeah, I really would appreciate having somebody like that. especially with the whole date shit. Like, if we're
Mm,
really going in on this and like we're vibing, like, well, this works for us, and we get a very nice condo, and it's owned by her dad, so already I'm on like the trial. I'm on the trial plan right now. Like, I'm just the boyfriend to your daughter, and like you're cool with me being the father. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have, me personally. I would not have no problem with that. My rent is cheaper. It's $200 less. I only got to pay $400 a month to live in a
mm,
downtown high rise in Chicago. I don't give nah. And that's just because for me, mainly because it's her dad. It's her dad's property.
mm.
That's the
Oh,
like the
what's that?
real reason. Because
What's that
like
mean?
if it was just some random person that was giving us a hookup like that we
Mm,
did not know and we were not related to, where there was no connection to them whatsoever, and then
mm,
they were just like, nah, nigga, you got to pay $600. She's fuck her, like, nah, but you,
mm,
I'd be kind of like, why? But okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, there'll be something there. But if like in this situation, it's her dad. Like, her dad is looking out for his daughter, and like it's like, hey, I would have given you this for free,
mm,
but this nigga right here, you know, if it was your husband, maybe y'all can have it for free. I still might have to tax you. I don't know.
mm. See, that's interesting. That's interesting. There's a lot of interesting points there. I'm gonna just start with the no nuance version of the shit, and then we can go back from there.
Hmm.
The dad is an asshole. The daughter is a dumbass, and the boyfriend doesn't know how to express himself. So everybody's a piece of shit here a little bit, but the
Hmm.
main person who's an asshole here is the dad. So
Mm.
I'm not against the boyfriend at all. And the girlfriend, I'm giving her bait because she's young and this is her father. Father's a fucking grade A dickhead asshole.
Wow.
Um, because what this is a very subtle financial manipulation. Because money is one of those things where it's like, because financial abuse is very easy to get away with because we value money so much that, like, when somebody manipulates you with money and you complain about it, they go, "You're not grateful, but I'm paying for shit. I own shit. I'm giving you X, Y, and Z," and people will look at you like you're crazy for complaining for getting something for free. But it's like, ain't nothing ever free. When you're getting something for free, you're paying for it some other type of way. So I feel like in this situation, what's happening is the father is using his financial power to unnecessarily drive a wedge in this relationship and test a boyfriend when no test is required. They've been together 4 years, and something on the tail end of what you said was very interesting. If a random person that was giving you a hookup said, "I'll give the apartment to her for free, but this nigga's got to pay $400," you'd be looking at him weird. And then you mimed as, and then you mimed as the father, and you said you still use that language of like, "But this nigga." So I'm going, why is the father still looking at this person who has been with his daughter for 4 years now, who's been paying rent with her, who's been living life together with her, who's been splitting bills and utilities, still looking at him as someone who needs to be tested? And why does he feel comfortable doing so through financial means? I can go into it more, but that's where I'm sitting.
I have to disagree. I would have to
Yeah,
disagree
I feel you. I feel you because
because
most people did. I'm looking at I'm looking at the comments on this, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy how much they think that this nigga Jake is out of his fucking mind. When
that's
Jake is just responding, this is a very normal emotional response to somebody
yeah.
financially exerting control over your relationship as an adult. This is a very normal response.
This man's 23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'm not upset or looking at Jake like he's crazy or like you're such an asshole or like, oh my god, red flag girl, dump him, like that's crazy.
Mm.
I'm not looking at him like that because I mean I would understand the response, but at the same time, that's a great fucking deal. It's a
But
great
see,
goddamn deal.
I'd
Like,
rather
it's,
I'll go live by
you,
myself off that low
nah, because
key
like,
dead
bro, like
ass.
that's
I'll
you
go live
you
somewhere else.
cutting your nose to spite your fucking face, man. Like
That's
that's
not.
all
Yes,
that is,
yes.
bro. Like it's like you
Sometimes that's what
dying
it
just on
is.
principle, and like it's
Yeah,
not. What is it worth?
yeah.
What is it worth? Like, because I
It's
don't
worth.
even think
Okay.
it's because okay. So you know how they say like when you become somebody like you. I don't know if you want to understand where I'm coming from with this, but like a lot of people say like more money, more problems.
Okay.
But I'm just saying like more money. They like more
No,
money,
I
more
had the
problems.
same
Like
amount
you
of
know what I'm
problems.
saying?
Yeah. One day I'll try and get more problems.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, fuck it, right now. But and they a large concern of people who have money or who might be rich or wealthy is like people trying to take advantage of them or their family members. And so sometimes that financial shit, that financial piece comes into a part of a vetting process. And it's
Sure.
like if we want to
Yeah.
if we want to go to like another lane, we can say the same thing with entrepreneurship. Like if you have a mentor, if you need mentorship, and like if you're trying to be an entrepreneur and you need mentorship, they're gonna vet you in some ways, but it's not a power play just to say, oh, I'm where you need to be. I'm gonna make you jump to these hoops. It's like, no, I'm trying to make you better. I'm trying to vet you to make sure that you're not just with my daughter fucking around and just trying to get a free place to stay, even though y'all might have been together for 4 years. But
those two things don't directly immediately contradict one another.
Hey man, we don't know Jake like that, but also we don't know the nigga daddy like that.
We don't. You're right. There's context that could be added to this that could sway me one direction or the other. So I am leaning one way based off just like my feelings. But why are you testing this nigga? Because here's the other thing is, I feel like sometimes you just got to take that fucking risk, right? Like, sure, get a prenup, that's fine. But once you start letting the shit be a part of the relationship where it's like, yo, this is so it's one thing for a guy to seek a prenup with his girl. It's another thing if he's constantly testing her throughout the relationship. Do you think that's fair? Like it's one thing to be ready for a breakup. It's another thing to constantly be testing your partner. And one is a problem. So it's like, as a parent, if my daughter is dating somebody, and because she's my daughter, I support her life, and because of the fact that I support her life, that means that people who partner with her also are probably going to get the knock-on effects of that. If I give her an allowance, if I give her a place to stay, etc., etc., other people are going to be able to benefit off that. I have to trust to some extent that she's making decent fucking decisions, especially if she's been with somebody or been rocking with somebody for 4 fucking years. I don't butt in and then start making like different kinds of like financial deals with each of them to test them individually. What you do is you say to your daughter, hey, here's the apartment for free, or here's the apartment at a very reduced cost, and you pay it with whoever you live there with. Here's the apartment for completely free, and if somebody wants you for the fucking apartment, you got to figure that out. And maybe I'll even say, hey, I'm noticing some shit's looking crazy. I don't butt in with financial power trying to control that situation and test your relationship. That's crazy.
I can see more where you're coming from with that.
You just gotta take that risk. You just gotta charge it to the game. You're putting a $400 wedge between your daughter and the person that she's with just to test that this nigga isn't gonna like. A $400 rent is such a fucking discount that it probably still is having the same effect. If I'm getting to live in an amazing fucking place for $400 a month that would cost me like $1,500. That's still a huge incentive to stay with this girl even if I don't like her no more. And at the end of the day, if I'm checked out of the relationship as the guy, and the girl notices that, then a breakup is gonna happen. Me getting the free shit is not, you know what I'm saying? That's a risk you gotta take. And it's really not your place to take or not take that risk as the father, as the parent.
Apparently it is, because this is apartment was, so.
I mean, you know what I mean by not your place. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but you know what I mean.
I mean, yeah, because like, I ain't gonna lie, because if I was a father and my daughter was like, if I was in that same situation.
Yeah, for sure.
And she had some dude and this is my spot, I'm like, look, I brought this child into this earth, onto this earth. If she was single, I would have gave this apartment to her for free. Like, I still probably would have made her pay some rent because, I'm just that type of nigga.
There we go.
But that's just me. But I'm just saying, if I was in this situation, what's up?
So if she's single, what you do, right? If my daughter is single and I go, here's the apartment, do you see what I'm saying? You added a nigga and then you're making him pay additional rent on an apartment that was free to test him. So this is not rent. This is a boyfriend charge.
We can call it that.
And there we go. This is exactly okay. Right. So let's talk about what we're actually fucking talking about. This is not a good deal. This is not a parent helping out the boyfriend. It's not any of those things. But see, this is where financial abuse comes in, because you get to place what you're actually doing under the guise of like helping. What you're doing is buying control. You know what I'm saying? This dad ain't trying to give nobody a fucking deal. The side effect of it is that it looks like a good deal, so he can hide what he's actually doing. Again, I'm making lots of assumptions here, but
If
the
he
fact
wasn't
that
trying
it's
to
a
give a
deal is
good
relevant.
deal, I mean, it wouldn't be $400 a month. But yeah, I got you.
But that's not what he's trying to do, right? That's a way to make what he's actually trying to do more appealing. Because like you said, if we're her father, the reason we're doing this is not to help her in her relationship. It's not going, hey, you're somebody who loves my daughter, and I love my daughter. I want to help you out. It's me going, I brought this child into the world. This is my daughter. You probably have negative intentions despite the fact that you've been with her for 4 years. I suspect you. Something is off. This is your tax for being a partner to my daughter. Okay, cool. Let's have a conversation about that then. Let's not pretend it's a deal. Let's not
That shit
pretend
is
it's
a
some
deal.
nice shit. No, it's
That
not.
shit is a deal.
You're using the word deal differently than what I'm using it. You're saying,
guess
is this
so.
a good financial decision for the boyfriend or not? That's separate from what we're talking about. What I'm
And that
talking
is a
about
good
is,
deal. To me,
is the
yeah. I got
okay.
you,
We
I
can,
got you,
do
I
we
got
want to
you.
have the conversation we want?
We're not. Yeah, I got
So
you.
yeah. So like,
We wanna have-
so like, why are we doing that? Let's just talk about what he's actually doing. Is that okay? You're taxing your child's partner in order to test them. Cool. Is that acceptable or not?
in order to vet them,
In order to vet them.
possibly
Okay.
vet them. Yeah, yeah.
So see,
I know, because like you said, because you said it yourself, like it's very rarely are things just legit free. And I don't
Yeah,
want to be and I
exactly.
don't want anybody to look at me as some sort of a crutch. I'm here to help, but at the same time, I do want to raise my children to be strong and to find a strong partner who can stand on, so they can both stand on their own 2 feet. Now, if I have assets,
that seems in contradiction with the situation.
what do you mean? Are we
You're
talking about
giving her
my
free
parenting,
rent. Well, you
my
because
hypothetical parenting style, or this Reddit piece?
well, your hypothetical parenting style as applied to this situation, because he's giving her a completely free apartment that she cannot afford on her own.
Mm-hmm.
So that just seems in contradiction with the whole standing on your whole two, like all of the stuff that you said, unless I misunderstood how you're
I mean,
applying
well,
it here.
that's maybe more of the latter, but I'm just saying, I'm just thinking about my own hypothetical
Okay.
parenting style, not necessarily having to do with this Reddit post.
Okay. Okay.
But if and when I do become a parent, my goal for them is to do the best job I can with raising them, instilling great values in them, teaching them the understanding of money. The shit just don't grow on trees. Don't nobody necessarily just owe you money just based off GP. Like, you have to figure out how to move and navigate through life so that you can stand on your own 2 feet. Now, however, I am here to help you. I'm here to guide and educate you. And if you're in a really tough spot, I'm here to help you because I brought you into this world. I'm your father. I love you. Now, in this situation, if I just had a hella assets and my daughter was on her shit, she was in college, she doing everything she need to do, she got a job, and I got a nice ass apartment that's not being rented out to nobody at the moment. I don't need the money necessarily. Hey, you can have this. You can have it. Well, depending on how I'm feeling, because I could give it to her. I don't know. I might give it to her for free, or I might just say, hey, $600 a month just off GP, baby. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense to me.
Daddy
That
love
makes
you.
sense to me. Yeah, I'm giving you a major discount, but I'm still teaching you that you have to move through the world. I get it. It's a lesson to be taught.
Yeah, but I can tell you right now, if she got a nigga or a boyfriend, because that's my baby girl, that's my daughter, nigga. I don't know
Let's
this
dig
dude.
into that.
You
Let's
damn
dig
straight,
into
I'm
that,
taxing
though.
this motherfucker like I don't.
Okay.
Unless
Why?
like he been around the family, you know what I mean? And like
4
I
years, he
gotta-
probably has been. Okay, so
maybe
so why?
Maybe so.
Now,
4 years. Please.
okay, because I think I want to ask you questions instead of making assumptions, because I have lots of opinions about this kind of feeling that we have around like our baby girls, nigga. So I'm not gonna make no accusations. Can you just elaborate on why you feel that way? Because you said a whole bunch of stuff, and then it felt like what you were talking about and your emotionality and your expression just completely changed once you mentioned the nigga. Like, you said a bunch of stuff and then just had a completely different conversation once you mentioned the boyfriend that had almost nothing to do with
When I
what you
said
said before.
this nigga,
Yeah, you said this
I'm
nigga, and
taxing
then you
this
started.
nigga. Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
not my child yet.
Okay, no.
Like, what you mean? Of course it's
I
different.
feel you. I feel you. But it's like, but that's what we're talking about. So you said a bunch of stuff, and then you just started a new conversation about the nigga. So I'm curious about that half. So why those feelings? What are those feelings? What are we looking for there? So I'm trying to pick like super vague words so that I don't like put stuff on you that's
Words
not
in
necessarily there. Yeah.
what are those feelings of? Okay, so at the end of the day, I think when fathers have daughters,
Mm.
like we just kind of melt a bit more naturally,
Okay.
if you know what I mean.
I do. I do.
Like the
Definitely.
the the goddamn cotton candy and cotton balls,
Yeah.
just
It's a soft
like
thing for
yeah,
you to protect and love
very
and
soft. You know what I
pour all of
mean?
your strength into. Yeah.
Um, and then like you want to dote on your daughter and be like provide and protect your daughter, and then because we all know like guys can be, we all know how gentlemen can be. Not all niggas, but I know niggas. We know niggas.
We are niggas. I mean, to be
We
fair.
are
So.
niggas that know niggas.
Yeah. I mean, well, yep, but yes.
And so yeah, so it's like, and especially if I'm a man of means, and like this, some guy come around. Of course, I'm gonna vet. I'm not gonna be a dick to him. I'm not gonna be like an asshole to him. I'm not gonna try to run him
Yeah.
off unless he gives me a reason to do that, or
Sure.
unless he just like sets off a bunch of red flags. Knowing niggas. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I'm still like, okay, well, what's your intention? Like, what's going on here? Like, how you feel about my daughter? Like, show me through your actions. And I think that might be kind of more so where this guy might have been trying to come from, because that's a still stupidly insane great deal. Like, I know you don't want to use that word here. It's a great bargain. It's a
No, it's not about the it's not
rate.
about the word. It's that again, and fuck, I don't want to end up just going off on a tangent, but fuck it. So my issue there is that when we're talking about financial coercion specifically, which is where somebody because we all need money. Like, we need money to access life. And because we tend to think of like a dollar is a fucking dollar. Like, it's not like other shit where it's like love is very amorphous, effort is very amorphous. It's a joke is subjective. A dollar is not subjective. It translates everywhere. This is legal tender for goods and services everywhere. And so we look at it as being more valid than other areas of society. So when someone puts their money towards something or gives you something that has a monetary value, people look at that as like, oh, well, that just is what it is. It's a free lunch. It's a sandwich. It's a good meal. But what are you paying for that with? And so I think you end up in these financially coercive positions where a nigga says to his wife, like, I pay all the bills in this house and you can't you're not fucking me tonight? And those kinds of things start to happen. And then we start arguing about whether or not having all of your bills paid is a deal. And this is what, and I'm not saying you're saying this, but this is what happens in all these.
That's not what that look was at all. I was just
No. Okay.
different. Yeah.
And so that's what happens in all of these like alpha male, like provider submission conversations of like, well, hey, if I'm paying for this and this and this and this and this, here's what you owe me, because you're not bringing anything to the table, et cetera, et cetera. That kind of thing. It's like calling it a deal is, I think, a very thinly veiled way of hiding that the function of it is control. Like, a lot of people are very willing to give up their money from their wallet in exchange for control of your life. And then when you say, hey, I don't want you to control my life, they go, but it's a good deal. And it's like, no, it's not. There's some shit that's more important than money. And if you're saying to me, hey, look, my partner's parent is going to be the landlord of my home, and I have to pay rent on it, but my partner does not, so now we no longer are on equal footing within this relationship, then I start asking questions, because with these good deal free sandwich shit, it don't just stop at the deal. Parents do this to children all the time. Gary Vee talks about it, where it's like, yeah, sure, they're paying for all your Ubers, they're doing this and that, but then now they want to butt in about what you're majoring in. They want to know, do you have any grandbabies, et cetera, et cetera. So they're paying for something with that money. They're not giving it for nothing. So now I'm starting to think like, okay, cool. So I'm paying $400, which is very cheap rent. Am I on the lease? What happens when the dad don't like me no more? What happens when me and the daughter break up? Who's getting kicked out? When the dad visits, is he visiting as the landlord or is he visiting as the father? And is he going to visit as the father unannounced, but with landlord, like talking about landlord shit, et cetera, et cetera? When there's a situation and we have a disagreement and the father goes, you know what, maybe rent's $500, maybe rent's $600, because we don't have a lease really, and you don't really live there. when those sorts of you really think it's gonna stop at this? I don't think so, and I don't think I would want to put myself in that situation. If my choice is paying $600 for a shit apartment where I'm on the lease and I'm equal with the person that I'm living with, or $400 to live in a fucking penthouse, I'm taking the first one every time.
Sound like your choice is actually gonna be paying $1,200 for a shit apartment, because I doubt she moving out of that penthouse.
Oh yeah, no,
But
I mean,
you
yeah,
just
yeah,
off
for
the
sure,
GP,
for sure.
goddamn it, I'm dying on this hill. I'll figure it out.
I mean, there's again, there's a series of contexts to where I could view this as a good deal, and it depends on the energy and if I feel like everything's cool, and if it doesn't feel like a test, etc., etc., cool. But I would never do that with my child. I would say here the rent is discounted. You can figure it out how you want to pay with it with whoever lives with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go on the lease. If you want to add somebody to the lease, cool. It's a $2,100 rent a month apartment. I'm already paying for some nigga to fuck you in this apartment. You're my daughter. If they love you, I love them. Cool. If they're treating you like shit, then we can sort that out. We can figure out what we need to do. If I need to get this nigga out the house, cool, we can do that. But as long as you're choosing this nigga, and as long as everything is cool with y'all are grown. So I'm helping you out, but I don't control your life. I'm not giving you an allowance in exchange for controlling your life. So I don't get to tax your boyfriends to test them.
Yeah.
It's $2,100 a month. I'll give it to you for $500. Y'all split it however the fuck y'all want to do that. I would never try and exert that type of financial control over my child.
Yeah. Well, sounds honorable.
Maybe, but yeah, I mean, I said a whole bunch of shit, so I don't know if Sorry if
I mean, no, not at all, not at all. Like, I mean, I feel you. I guess, like, because I'm a man of morals. And I like to say I stick by those. And but at the same time, I also, it's just like, you just never fucking know. Like, you just never know what will happen in the future. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, we say this shit now, but, like, when we're actually in it.
Oh, I might switch up entirely. Who knows?
You know what I'm saying?
Who knows?
But
it's just today.
But, yeah. But, okay, so let me ask you this question. And please bleep this name out. But you remember, right?
Yeah.
Similar situation, except me and her weren't boyfriend and girlfriend at all. Like, I just found that apartment through a listing, through an online listing. And she was not paying 3-bedroom apartment, and I had the master bedroom. She was not paying no rent, but I was paying $500, $550 or something like that.
Right.
And her dad was taking care of everything.
Sure, but I would say that situation was real different because, one, the money was not to test you. Two, the money was you were looking for a place. The relationship that y'all had, not boyfriend and girlfriend, but just the friendship that y'all had was a result of you seeking an apartment and her parents seeking to rent a room in the apartment. So the relationship came because of the arrangement, not the other way around. That's totally different.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is a deal. They said, "Here's the deal," and you said, "Cool, I'll volunteer." That's a totally different situation.
They knocked off an extra $100 for an additional deal on that too. So
right, but that's room and board. That's a whole different thing. They were paying you for something. They didn't knock money off. They said, "Yo, if you can help our daughter out in situations where she might need somebody to look out for her, we'll pay you this amount taken off of the rent." That's a whole different situation.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. That is fair.
That's a whole different situation. So I'm not with this. I think the dad is, again, there might be a whole bunch of extra context that I do not know, but just my spidey senses is fucking tingling. This is financial coercion. This is somebody trying to control the relationship using their money, and they know because of how subtle it is, and because of the fact that it's financial, that people are, and because of the fact that it's a man, right? Because if you switch this up, right? And this is the mother owned an apartment and her son's living there for free, but she asked for $400 from the daughter, or it's a man and his daughter is dating a woman and all of that kind of stuff. People would look at this a little bit differently, but because of the way that we look at the relationship between men and money, everybody's going to look at this and go, "You're a dumbass. That's a good deal, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you want to sell?" Because what he's doing, he's buying the equality in their relationship. He's buying the shared nature of their relationship away from them by giving his daughter a deal that she can't refuse, an amazing fucking apartment, deeply discounted. And so she's going, of course. And the boyfriend is going, well, okay, but what I'm having to exchange for this is that before I was in an equal footing with my girlfriend where we both paid 50-50 for things and we ran things 50-50, and now we've changed it. So she's got an extra, $600 every month Is she paying more for groceries? No, probably not. So, and again, it does help me financially. I'm better off than I was before, and you could think of it as being similar to her getting a raise, sure, but you know it's different when you know the person who is causing that situation in your life. It's different.
Yeah, I get
And it
that.
ain't gonna stop with this.
So
It ain't gonna stop with this. Yeah.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Say
Yeah.
for instance, if it was your parents and they were like really well off and they had a penthouse to give to their sweet little boy Eddie Overgold,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, Eddie, this is your apartment, baby. You get it for free, but that little Jezebel you fucking with, or that girlfriend you got, she paying $400. Like, how would you be like, well, Jezebel, you gotta pay that $400.
I mean, but
Eddie, how much
think about
paying?
I ain't paying nothing, baby. But you gonna have to,
shit.
yeah. See, this is, and I saw somebody in the comments recommend this. They were like, the girlfriend, if she wants to, she could solve this whole problem, right? Because she's saving money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
She's getting a great place. She could say, hey, look, I'm gonna split this 200, or she could even really rebuff the financial power that the father is trying to say do and say, hey, look, draw up a lease and fuck it, I'll pay $400. That's saving me $200 a month anyway. I'll pay $400. He'll pay $400. We'll pay you $800 every single month, and in exchange for that, you are not a member of this relationship. You're my parent. You're here to support and finance me if I see fit. You don't get to exchange that for control, testing, or any of that in my relationship. So here's $800. Take it. I don't want it back. You can't make me not pay it. This is what we're doing. Some version of that. So if my parents said to me, hey, look, Eddie, you are living with this girl. She's going to have to pay rent. It depends the energy that they bring into that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she's, taking a bunch of showers and running up bills and things that are making it a different thing, then cool. We can have that conversation. But if it don't make no difference, then I'm going, nah. I'm going cool. We'll move out, or yeah.
You ride and say, what if your girl's like, nah, what are you doing? You crazy? Let's stay here. I'll pay the 400. I'll pay the 400, or we can just split it in half. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not that deep, baby.
Honestly, I would probably, cause
I can see you still moving out. Like, nah,
I would,
that.
Probably,
we going back to the slums.
Probably, bro. Cause I don't know what your situations have been. I don't know if you've been in a situation where somebody tries to control you with money by giving you gifts in exchange, giving you gifts, money, financial support in exchange. I don't know. Have you ever been in that situation?
Nah, man, not at all.
Okay, so I think that's a thing that you gotta take into account. That it's like, it ain't. I would literally rather be homeless than somebody control me in a golden cage. Like, 100%. Every time I'm choosing that. So. Yeah. That's where I'm coming from it with that energy. And you've never been in that situation. It ain't. I don't think it ain't nice how you think it is. It can be, and some people are comfortable in that situation. I've got my own temperament, so it varies person to person. You might actually be fine with it, but I think it's perfectly normal for a person to be like, no, you can't. Actually, that's lovely that you got a nice mansion for me. No, thank you. I'm gonna do my own thing.
Well, see, like, cause I can understand that. I can understand that because I can empathize with that because I have not been in that situation where someone has tried to manipulate me through financial means or gift giving. Hell, it's quite the opposite. Goddamn, I barely got shit. But sometimes, bro, like, but just even knowing you, it's like sometimes I've like listened to you or just watched the hills that you would die on. I'm like, why? And I don't know.
Because money don't matter that much to me like that.
It ain't even about money. It'd be like on some other moral shit too. So I know it ain't just all about money. But
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's a temperament thing for sure.
So yeah, but cool. I think we beat this to death.
Let's see what we got.
No, I wanted to have another. This isn't on the whatchamacallit, but I did want to.
Let's
go back to something that you said a couple podcasts ago. You only touched on it lightly, but I thought it was a profound thing. We was talking about eating and the expectation of paying, or it was basically when I asked you like, well, do you plan on like, getting more money to quote unquote dating? You was like, no, fuck no. Like I don't equate the two together. I kind of want to have it to. Jesus Christ, I can't talk right now. I wanted to talk more about.
Take a little bit more tequila. It helps.
It's not gonna help, bro. It's not gonna help, brother.
I thought you said you be quicksilver with the words when you were a little bit zooted.
That's just the confidence.
Okay, so you confident, but you're not really saying it smooth like
Yeah,
how you
I
think.
mean, I say it. Yeah, that's more so confidence than anything, but
Okay, so
confidence
what was
does
the
speak
question?
very loud.
That's true. Hey, look, loud and wrong is better than quiet and right. I think. No,
We
that's
can make a
wrong. But
case.
I
We
mean
can make
that's
a
wrong.
case.
But you know what I'm saying. I've been drinking, so
Yeah, yeah, right. Right.
shit.
Sound good, if nothing else. Um, so the question was basically, if you don't make a certain amount of money, should you not be dating, or are you not deserving to date or find love?
Yeah, I think a lot of people when they're on internet there's so much discourse about who's to pay for dates and 50-50 and what do you bring to the table and blah 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 and all this bullshit and coffee dates versus dinner dates and all that kind of shit and it's very adversarial really for no reason
Mm-hmm.
where niggas are using it as a thinly veiled mask for their misogyny and women are using it for their thinly veiled like just disdain for people who are poor and shit and their expectations of what a man should or should not be. So it's a lot of fighting that doesn't need to be there. But to the thing that you're talking about, I think that people say that if you're broke, if you can't afford $50 for a date, if you can't afford $30 for a date, whatever, then you shouldn't be dating.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, that doesn't sound that crazy. But what they're effectively saying is that people who are poor,
Yeah.
people who don't have a lot of disposable income, people who have their money tied up in things that they're doing, if they're going to school, if they got children, et cetera, that people in that category, not only do they not deserve love, they don't even deserve the attempt to pursue it. And when phrased that way, I think it's just obvious how absurd and hateful of
Mm-hmm.
a suggestion that is to suggest that
Right.
people who don't have money don't deserve to even attempt to pursue love and affection from others. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people realize what they're saying when they say it. So I don't think that they're fully evil. I just don't think they're thinking about what they're saying. Um, so I say, if you're poor, you of course you deserve to attempt to find love. Like, what are we talking about? So it's pretty simple.
Indeed, I have to wholeheartedly agree. Because that is the underlying thing of what people are saying when they do make those claims. If you can't afford $50 a day, or hell, oh my God, you're taking me to get coffee. You're taking me on a cheap coffee day or walk in the park. I'm not doing that. And I see that shit like in like Bumble profiles, from time to time.
That's
Like,
crazy. I've
no, I
never
don't want to
seen
go
that.
to a no, I don't want
Not
to
to
go
gaslight.
on a walk in the park with you.
Mm.
Oh,
I
I've
believe
seen,
you. I
yeah,
believe you. I
I
believe
have
you. I
seen,
believe
yeah.
you.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
I believe you. It's been a while, but I believe you. Yeah.
uh, what you mean by that, nigga?
I mean, I haven't been on a dating app in a while.
Oh, I thought you meant.
This nigga put the tequila down. This nigga finna fight me.
You mean by that,
The fuck you
Because it sounded like
trying to square up, nigga?
It sounded like you said it's been a while since I believed you.
Yo, that's one. You know how much like that sentence almost doesn't even make sense that you made that connection. It's been a while since I believed you.
Yes,
That sentence is crazy sounding.
exactly. Why? That's why you think I said what you mean by that.
So wouldn't you just think that I meant it's been a while since I've experienced dating apps? That's why I'm not familiar with the things that are on them. Doesn't that
I
sense
think
make more sense?
that was a very fair connection to make in that moment. Like,
That was a
damn.
drunk connection, but all right.
Now you the one on the sauce too, goddamn it. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
fair.
um, but yeah, okay. So going back to the things we see it online, like dating apps, blah 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 blah,
Mm.
and that does send a very subconscious message to a lot of guys that who might not be making a whole lot of money or like might not have a lot of disposable income for a lot of nice dates, that no, you're not worthy of love. And I think, and I hate to be that guy again, but like, because I know men can have just treated women so poorly. In every instance, women have not been the most kind to guys either, throughout time as well. Like, because there's always been like that nice guy, that good guy there, and who kind of get shit on for somebody else who might be of more means or more status or whatever. Because I have been there before, like when I've been poor, didn't have shit, just in my own head, I'm like, fuck. And I'm seeing this discourse go on that's dissuading me even more from even thinking I'm even worthy of being loved.
If you don't have financial means.
Yeah, if I don't have financial gains, and that shit fucks up your
Yeah.
confidence, and it's a very serious spiral, because for a lot of guys, like that financial component and being able to take care of yourself and provide for yourself is very tied to our self-worth. And then you have the people who you would like to find love from telling you, if you ain't making money, like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, it's like that shit hurts. It's like that will definitely push you towards spiraling down into more of depression,
A
more
negative
reclusion,
space,
a negative space, negative headspace. Like, you're not confident. So it's just like a domino effect.
No, I think that's pretty. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. I think it's pretty. I mean, there's lots of context, and I could be like, oh, well, there's this, and how big of an issue is this, and all that kind of stuff. But I think to just respond directly to what you're directly saying, I think it's a condemnable behavior to imply that people who don't have money don't deserve to date. Just to echo what I said previously. So I think that's pretty fair. I think there's larger context to the way that gets inflated as a way of dividing men against women, because I think a lot of the stuff that we see is filter bubble algorithm shit, where it's like,
for sure.
because I again, I want to make sure I'm not gaslighting you, because because it's very quick for niggas to be like, well, hey, maybe it's the women that you're looking at, or like, I've never had an issue, da 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 da. But it's like, if somebody's experiencing something, they're probably experiencing something, and they're probably experiencing that something, and obviously I'm in a different space, but I've never had too much of an issue one way or the other. But obviously, I'm a different person. What I'm looking for is different. What my appeal is different. So it might be, and also I don't know what my experience might be if I did have money. Like, I don't know what it would be if it might be it might be on a different vibe. So I can't just throw that whole experience under the bus and be like,
Yeah, for sure.
So I can say, I haven't had issues, but that doesn't mean
that somebody else hasn't, or it's
that
not
somebody
a
else
thing.
hasn't, or that it's not a thing. Because maybe if I had money, maybe shit would be way, way better, and I don't know, because I just didn't experience it, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said some real shit too. In that other episode when you was like, I mean, you kind of got to date in your lane, or like you stay in your lane or whatever. It's a bit esoteric, but it's like, well, like they know what they're getting into when they're dealing with me.
Yeah,
and it's like, but I will tell you this though. I guess speaking for myself, like it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Uncomfortable to ask for a girl to go Dutch for me, because I've had other homeboys like go on dates, and them niggas like was infamous for like splitting that damn check 50-50 at Applebee's date spot.
You just hit them with the. So we're gonna do it. Like this is what I do. You just get in the line and stand behind them. It ain't no problem. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Man, bro. Okay.
You just say, hey, so shall we pay? Because this other thing, like I'm going to restaurants where you pay at the counter. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't. It's a different vibe. It's very easy to split when you're paying at the counter.
I'll tell you this one story. So this is a girl that I was emotionally tied to, right? And it was my birthday, so we were hanging out on my birthday. And we went somewhere. Mind you, I paid for everything. Like, she never lifted a finger.
For your birthday.
It's my birthday.
That's crazy.
Like, so I paid for like the event activity that we did, and I'm kind of feeling the way. I'm like, this is weird. Like, and it ain't like, and it's not like I'm not the nigga that's not paying for shit most of the time.
Yeah.
So
did she initiate these situations, like the places that you all were going? Did she plan them, or you planned them?
It was kind of like it was like a joint thing. Like, it was like I would like to do something for my birthday. I know I don't want to be in the house, type thing.
Okay.
And she's like, okay, well, we could go here. We could go here. Okay, well, let's do this. We haven't been here before.
Right.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So, and like, cause I'm feeling, I'm like, it's kind of weird. Like, she could have picked up something, but whatever. So we went to this bar to go get a drink, and like you said, I just stood behind her, cause I said, I'd be damned if like it's one drink per person. She's at the bar, talking to the bartender. The bartender brings her the drinks. This motherfucker take the bill, and pass that bitch off to me on my birthday. I'm like, what the fuck? And you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy. Shit, you know what? It must be because you tall or some shit, nigga. Because they don't even be half the time they pass the bill to her. You know what I'm saying? Like on some assumption shit when they would be. I don't know what's going on. I think this might be some white privilege type shit. Like we living in two different worlds, like on some Hunger Games shit. Like I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, and
Because
that's
that's
it's
crazy.
crazy. That's
crazy.
Crazy.
This nigga had to reach back and stretch to hand the bill to somebody else. That's crazy. You know, I think it's also like city culture varies, like different. Because I think but no, even in every city I've lived in, it hasn't been. I haven't noticed a big difference in that regard. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, that is, I could bring up many other, instances of women.
I know, I'm sure you can. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
No,
I'm trying to figure out what's going
on. I'm saying this more so for the listener.
Sure.
Giving the women an olive branch. But because I can also like bring up, instances where women have been very kind. The women have paid for me on, dates and stuff. So it's not all just that, but just to. This shit happened. Like, it's not. We're not just pulling this shit out our ass and then just, you know what I mean? So yeah, and that whole concept, and I'll be honest, because I'm still trying to wrap my mind around being
I can hear you.
The concept of provider, in a sense, and what that looks like in its totality, like. And if I'm not able to fulfill that role in whatever that might look like to some woman or somebody, does that takes away from my value and my manhood
as a partner,
you know what I'm saying, or in their eyes or whatnot. So it's just a thing, and I'm not saying that I don't see myself as a provider. I don't want to be a provider. I don't want to provide emotional support, blah 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 blah. But like, because purely financial. And if I'm expected to pay literally everything to prove my worth to you as a man and a provider, that's fucking nuts.
See,
like
this is
making the same amount of money.
Because I feel like, and this is where I think I have to start giving a little bit of pushback to you, because this goes back to something that FD was saying, which was that there's a lot of women who will get turned off once black men step out of the Mandingo persona, and that's women of every race who will once black men step out of the hyper masculine aggressor sexual energy, that they get turned off. They want to reduce us down to that. And his stance was, fuck those women. Not literally, just disregard them essentially. Yeah. And so I think that a lot of times niggas get caught in this thing of like, there are some women who are trash, but we also kind of want those women, but we also kind of want them on their terms. So we're in this weird circle where we want what we by definition cannot have, and so we're trying to appease to people that whose values we don't even agree with. So I'm like, my pushback would just be, I think at some point, like, cool, we've already agreed to condemn this behavior. We've already agreed that it's wrong and it's bad, but at some point we're complaining in a circle where it's just like, cool, so now your choice is don't date those women. If you have real tools to identify them, and this is not me blaming you for their behavior. Their behavior is still trash. I'm not saying pick better women to excuse those women, but I'm saying at some point you got to go, cool. So now if a woman is moving like that, that disqualifies her from a relationship with you, because that's not what you're looking for. So
that's true.
We can be critical of that behavior, but and say like, cool, those women need to end. At the end of the day, what are you going to do in your life? And in your life, you don't deal with those women. And if a woman indicates to you that that's how she views the world, then she's got some work to do on herself before she's even ready to be qualified to deal with a real nigga like you. So I think you gotta. Otherwise, you're chasing your tail of just being.
Let the church say amen. Let the church say
amen.
Sir. Right there, my brother.
Hallelujah,
right
brother. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters.
All right.
Welcome to church this evening.
Welcome to church. We've got the good brother, Pastor Overgold, delivering a wise word, a wise sermon to the worthy brothers out there.
Amen.
Needing to find love, because let me tell you this, ladies and gentlemen.
Talk to him, brother.
If she's not willing to bring the pie to the table, then she is not able.
No, she is not.
She might be a stallion.
No, Meg.
But she does not belong in your stable.
It's a major for only one, baby.
And I'm going to break it down to you like this.
Break it down for him, brother.
I'm going to break it down like bricks to karate. If you looking for a woman who don't fit your metrics, then your life will be hectic. And then you will be embarrassed at what she has left you down in a deficit. Can I get a name?
Now open your hymnal books up to page 125. Turn to your right, turn to your left. At least one of them ain't shit. We don't know which one though.
Shit. Statistically speaking, 1 out of every 2 motherfuckers ain't shit.
Yes, sir. Preach and praise. But yeah, so I think that's kind of how you have to sort of approach that stuff, because otherwise it's just you're just complaining for forever. You know what I mean? So that would be my take. Yeah.
Yeah. That's real. That's real. And I'll say one last thing about that. That is extremely real, and I highly advise all you niggas to take that to heart, including myself. But I guess we are all, in a sense, just on a realistic front. Like, we're all, in a sense, sometimes you kind of get caught in that hole where you're looking for validation in the wrong place. Right. And
you're looking for validation from the people rejecting you.
Yeah.
And it's an endless well. You'll be drinking from that, getting thirstier and thirstier every time it's drinking salt water. So I guess to round that out into like a nice clean, because you're the actual person. How does Josh get out of that situation? Like if right now today you said, okay, sorry.
My fault. I thought this was a conversation that we need to have as men for the broader men. Josh kind of know what to do, like, because
you got it.
Josh done fucked up enough. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you got it. Okay, cool. I thought we was talking. I thought we was like doing both.
I mean, we can do it because we can use me as an example, but
okay,
I'm not. Well, once again, when the statute of limitations, we can have a conversation.
To speak on. So,
but yeah,
if you're a man who feels like you're not valued in relationships outside of financial contribution, and you feel like you're not valued as a person to date, my question would be, well, one, even if you did have the finances, you still wouldn't be valued. So just keep that in mind. And then two, if today you were say, I am not dating any, because here's the other thing is, I think back to the financial coercion thing, is that a lot of men, and you have to ask yourself whether or not you're in this category, is the problem that women expect you to pay for things, or is the problem that women expect you to pay for things but you're not getting what you think you're paying for, which is their obedience, submission, etc., etc., etc. And I think that's part of the conversation that niggas are leaving out.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, it's not that niggas don't want to pay, it's that niggas want something for that money. And so for those niggas, I don't right now have advice for those niggas, because if what you're looking for is to pay for control, I think maybe you got more work to do than the scope of this conversation. But if you're saying, I actually don't want to pay, I actually do want to show up in relationships as an equal partner, I actually do want people to like me for who I am, for my jokes, for my face, for my body, for my charisma, for my rapping ability, whatever the fuck it is that you're bringing to your dates, then how big of a problem would it be if you just said, from this day forward, I'm not dating anybody who's not ready to come to the table 50-50 to these dates, more or less? Who's not willing to, if I get the drinks, she gets the movies. If I get the popcorn, she gets the picnic cheese. If I get the dinner, she gets the lunch, whatever. If you were to just say, I'm not dating any women who aren't doing that, how big of a problem would that be? And if it's not that big of a problem, then just do that. Maybe easier said than done, but just do that.
And you know what? Fuck the 50-50 thing. How about we go 100-100? Like, I'm giving my all to the situation, you giving your all to the situation. Like, I'm loving you, speaking to you in your love language. I'm doing, literally pouring into you. I pour into you, you pour into me. I was talking, because I was talking about one of my homeboys a while ago, and we was talking about the 50-50 podcast episode. And he's in a very successful marriage with 2 great kids. And he was like, one thing, he's like, yeah, my mindset is like 100-100. And I was like, damn, you're right. Yes, that's really more of the mindset that I'm trying to get at, but I didn't think of it during that pod. But yeah, I think,
how you go 100-100 on the first date though? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Oh man, shit.
We both just empty our wallets. What that mean? I'm just trying to logistically. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like,
I mean, I'm thinking more like this is like grand scheme of things.
Okay, relationship wise. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like relationship wise, not first date.
Okay, understood. Because those are two kind of slightly different conversations. Like when niggas talk about
Yeah.
50-50 dating and 50-50 relationships, I feel like are two almost quite different things. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Oh, so okay.
Because
well,
I'm
how
not
about
doing
this
emotional labor on a first date. I'm not doing dishes on a first date. So we going
then?
50-50.
I be doing emotional labor on the first date sometime.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. You fair. No, actually, you're no. Yes, there's something to that. There's something to that. Yes.
I be asking questions. I be like a little
Yes.
mini therapist. Goddamn. Like,
That's
what's going
yeah.
on? How do you feel about
Because
that? You know.
I've seen a lot of women complaining on TikTok about niggas not like niggas going through a whole conversation without knowing how to have a conversation, without asking questions or being genuinely curious in the experience of the other person and shit like that. And so the implication is that like niggas are paying for the whole date in exchange for getting to talk about themselves for the entire fucking date or some shit like that. So that's a fair point. Yeah. If you expect 50-50, you need to show up as a 50-50 conversational companion.
Yeah.
C'est la vie.
What we doing?
Bonjour.
Closing this bitch out, or we going for one more?
We closing it out. We closing it out. We don't got time to edit all this shit. It's an hour and a half. So look, you know what I'm saying? If you're a boyfriend or a girlfriend who notices the parent of your partner trying to exert financial control over your relationship through what looks like a well-meaning financial favor, you may be seeing a red flag. But at the same time, if you expect financial contribution from the people that you date and view those who are poor as being undeserving of romance and love and sexual connection, it might be you that's waving a red flag. It's been Waving the Red Flag podcast. It's been Eddie. It's been Josh. Alvin will be in next week. Join us on Patreon if you want to see the full convo. We'll see. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? This nigga's he's colonizing Mars. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to oppress the indigenous people of a new planet he just discovered. Who knows? That's what he's going to be up to something. But if you want to join us on Patreon, you'll be able to see the full conversation that we have during the live. And you'll also be able to hop on live with us. Like, subscribe. Let us know everything you think about what we said during this conversation in the comments. And we'll see y'all next week. Peace, peace. Gang, gang.
That just seemed appropriate for some reason.
Pew, pew, pew.
Everybody going down.